Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be doing a recap for the movie Crazy Rich Asians. Before getting into our video, subscribe to our channel to avoid missing updates. Spoiler alert! In 1995, the film started when Eleanor Young and her son Nick, sister Felicity, and niece Astrid arrive at the Calthorpe Private Hotel in London. When she asks for her reservation at the front desk, both the clerk and the manager, Reginald Ornsby, lie about not having the reservation and tell them that they are fully booked and she must have made a mistake. He suggests to her that they can explore Chinatown. Eleanor contacts her husband, who reaches Lord Calthorpe, a close friend of the Youngs. When Eleanor comes inside after making the call, Ornsby warns her by saying that he will call the police. Then Calthorpe, the hotel owner, informs Ornsby that he has sold the hotel to the Youngs, making him appear clueless. Eleanor's first act as the owner is to direct Ornsby and the clerk to clean up Nick's mud on the floor. In 2018 in New York, Rachel Chu taught her economics class a lesson by playing poker with a student she beats. Rachel then goes out to eat with Nick, her boyfriend. Nick tells Rachel that he wants to take her to his hometown of Singapore for his best friend Colin Khoo's wedding, which would be an excellent opportunity for Nick to introduce Rachel to his family. Two women from the blog Radio 1 Asia spot Rachel and Nick in the corner, and one of them takes a picture of the two of them as she walks by. This spreads like wildfire in the Asian community until it reaches Eleanor, who is with her sisters, and they begin talking about Rachel. She calls Nick to inquire about his mysterious girlfriend accompanying him to the wedding. Eleanor is looking forward to having him at home, and his room is all ready, but Nick says that he and Rachel will be staying together. Rachel, after hearing this, says that she is having the house redone and it is not ready for guests, and if Rachel comes, she may feel uncomfortable. Rachel then goes shopping and she is with her mother, Carrie, and they are talking about Nick's family. Rachel believes they are poor and that he is ashamed of it. Rachel and Nick travel to the airport, where they are surprised to be in first class. Nick then reveals that his family is extremely wealthy and that the flight is one of their many benefits. He then informs Rachel of his cousins with whom he shares the fortune. Alistair Chang is a well-known Taiwanese producer dating his lead actress Kitty Pong, even though she is a terrible actress. Then there's Alistair's brother Eddie, a finance guy in Hong Kong who is married to Fiona and has 3 children, but he is obsessed with their image. He has been seen criticizing Fiona's dress choice because it's only suitable for Chinese Vogue and not American Vogue. Finally, Astrid is described as a sweetheart by Nick. She is seen speaking to a young girl and complimenting her teddy bear before meeting with a jeweler to purchase earrings. The couple arrives in Singapore and is met by Colin and his fiancée Araminta Lee. Before her husband Michael arrives at Astrid's house, she reads a bedtime story to her son Cashin. Though Astrid hides some of her expensive shoes and jewelry to avoid being noticed, he married a wealthy family. Rachel pays a visit to her college roommate Peek Lin and her wealthy family, taken aback when she reveals who she is dating. Peek Lin says that Nick's family is old money and extremely rich, making them akin to Singapore royalty. Nick introduces Rachel to his mother Eleanor at a dinner party at the Young estate. At the same time, his cousin Astrid discovers that her husband Michael, who comes from a lower income family than the Youngs, has been having an affair. Eleanor appears to dislike Rachel. The next day, Rachel attends Araminta's bachelorette party with her friends, while Nick attends Colin's bachelor party with his cousins and their gaudy, wealthy schoolmate, Bernard Tai. The bachelor party is held on a freight ship equipped with pools and a dance floor. Eddie criticizes Nick's choice of Rachel, seeing her as a commoner, and tells Colin that his own family would not have accepted Araminta if she hadn't come from a wealthy family. Nick and Colin leave the party and go to a relaxing spot where Nick reveals an engagement ring he intends to propose to Rachel with. Colin observes that Nick had already surprised his family by failing to return the previous year to inherit their company, and that marrying Rachel would mean that his inheritance would be delayed. Meanwhile, the ladies are on an island where Araminta spends money shopping and on a spa day. One of Rachel's friends, Amanda Ling, reveals herself as Nick's ex-girlfriend and begins to play subtly with Rachel's emotions. Rachel leaves the spa after overhearing the other girls disparaging her. Astrid approaches her and tries to console her, but they soon find a dead, gutted fish on Rachel's bed in her room with the words "Catch this, you gold-digging bitch" written in blood on the window. Astrid assists Rachel in burying the fish on the beach that night. Astrid later tells Rachel that Michael is having an affair. According to Nick, Rachel is upset about the women's harassment and Nick's secrecy about his family when they reunite. He apologizes and takes her to make handmade dumplings with his family. Eleanor's distinctive engagement ring catches Rachel's eye. Eleanor tells her that Nick's grandmother disapproved of Eleanor and denied Nick's father the family ring. Eleanor tells Rachel that she will never be good enough for Nick. Rachel considers leaving Singapore, but Peek Lin persuades her to go against Eleanor. Immediately before the wedding, Peek Lin and Nick's rebellious cousin Oliver give Rachel a glamorous makeover. Meanwhile, Astrid informs Michael that she suspects he is cheating on her, splitting up the couple. Rachel arrives at the wedding and dazzles everyone with her gown, even surprising Amanda when she tells her she's in her way. Eleanor and her sisters notice Princess Intan, who has requested a whole row to herself so that no one bothers her. To their surprise, Rachel approaches Intan and tells her that she read an article about her and admires how she spent her money. Intan is taken with Rachel, and even Nick notices how beautiful she is. The wedding then continues with Nick declaring his love for Rachel and vice versa, and Colin and Araminta marrying. Eleanor directs Oliver to prevent Alistair and Kitty from humping each other on the dance floor during the reception. Oliver interrupts and dismisses Alistair before dancing with Kitty and telling her that she would have to wait if she married Alistair because he is fourth in line to his family's fortune. In contrast, Bernard is the sole heir to his family's business. Meanwhile, Eleanor and Su Yi summon Rachel and Nick to a meeting. Eleanor says that she hired a private investigator to investigate Rachel's background, and it turns out that her biological father is still alive. Still, Rachel's mother was previously married to another man before cheating on him with Rachel's father and fleeing to America. Eleanor enrages Rick, and Rachel flees the party, telling Eleanor she doesn't want to be a part of her family. Nick tries to apprehend her, but she has vanished. Rachel remains depressed in her bedroom with Peak Lynn. Rachel is surprised to see Kerry arrive at the house the next morning. When Rachel brings up her father, Kerry explains that her first husband was abusive to her and she sought solace with a high school friend who later got her pregnant with Rachel. Kerry fled to America because she feared her husband would kill them if he found out. She also admits that Nick called her out of concern for Rachel. Michael packs his belongings to leave, but Astrid informs him that she will be taking Cashin with her to one of her other apartments. She tells Michael that she cannot expect him to behave like a man because he is not one. She then takes out the earrings she bought earlier but kept hidden from Michael and wears them for the first time. Nick proposes to them when they meet at the City by Water. Rachel sets up a meeting with Eleanor at a mahjong parlor. She reveals that she turned down Nick's proposal as they play. She points out that Eleanor has put the family in an impossible situation. Nick can abandon Rachel and remain dutiful but resentful, or he can abandon his family for love. She then clarifies that she declined his proposal so that he wouldn't have to make a lose-lose decision. Simultaneously, she hands Eleanor the mahjong tile that allows the older woman to win before revealing that she could have kept it for herself and won. She departs with Kerry, demonstrating her willingness to prioritize family over self. Meanwhile, Astrid leaves, telling Mike that his ego and insecurities are to blame for their marriage's demise. Eleanor has a meeting with Nick after being emotionally affected by her conversation with Rachel. Meanwhile, Rachel and Kerry board a flight from Singapore Shanghai Airport to New York City. They are interrupted by Nick, who proposes once more, this time with Eleanor's emerald ring, which represents her blessing. Rachel accepts in tears, and they return to Singapore for an engagement party, where Eleanor nods in acknowledgement, Rachel having finally earned her respect. That's where the film ends. That's all we've got for today, guys. Don't hesitate to like the video and leave a comment telling us how much you enjoyed this movie. We'll see you in the following one. Till then, goodbye.